The United States used its veto power in the United Nations Security Council yesterday to block the passage of a resolution calling for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire that would require Israel to halt its war against Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Washington dashed a growing clamor for an immediate ceasefire that had been led by UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and Arab nations. Good morning, I'm Abheudaya Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Nepal observing the International Anti-Corruption Day by organizing various programs in the country. Prime Minister Dahal attends a program held by anti-corruption watchdog CIAA. The Nepal Electricity Authority stops the export of electricity to India, starts import of 21 megawatts of electricity from India instead to meet domestic demand. The United States vetoes a proposed United Nations Security Council demand for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. And the International Olympic Committee decides to let Russian and Belarusian athletes to participate at the 2024 Paris Olympics, but will apply strict eligibility conditions. Nepal is observing the International Anti-Corruption Day today by organizing various programs in the country. On the occasion, the Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority, CIAA, held a program earlier this morning at the presence of Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal. On October 31, 2003, the UN General Assembly adopted the United Nations Convention Against Corruption and requested that the Secretary General designate the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime as the Secretariat for the Convention's Conference of States Parties. Since then, 190 parties have committed to the Convention's anti-corruption obligations, showing near universal recognition of the importance of good governance, accountability, and political commitment. The Assembly also designated 9th of December as International Anti-Corruption Day to raise awareness of corruption and of the role of the Convention in combating and preventing it. The Convention entered into force in December 2005. Nepal has found itself directly involved in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict. A shady network of human smugglers for recruitment in the Russian security forces for their war against Ukraine has surfaced in Nepal. Police investigation has found that the network has been sending Nepali nationals to Russia for recruitment in the Russian security forces with involvement of officials of the Russian embassy in Nepal. Meanwhile, those recruited in the Russian security forces have appealed for their safety. 13 individuals have already been arrested after District Police Kathmandu's week-long investigation into the recruitment of Nepali nationals in the Russian military. At a time when the Russia-Ukraine war is in progress, a group of smugglers has been seen active in sending Nepali nationals for Russian security forces. Police have said that officials of the Russian embassy in Nepal are also involved in this process. Investigation has shown that Gokarna Aryal, a member of the human trafficking network, was in regular and direct contact with an official of the Russian embassy named Nicholas. It has also come to the light that Nicholas had been assisting in issuing visas for those willing to go to Russia within 12 days. Police have said that serious investigation is underway into the issue as Nepali nationals were being sent to Russia by charging them 700,000 rupees each. A Nepali national who had reached Russia a few months back on a tourist visa has come into contact with Kantipur television. He mentioned that Nepali nationals have been deployed in the front line in the war. The person who had reached Russia via Sharjah from Nepal has said that he fears for his life at the battlefront. Nepali nationals who had reached Russia through the group of smugglers are completely under control of Russian military. It has also been learnt that Nepali nationals are taken to the military camp by 2 Indian agents in Moscow. While the group has been seen active in sending Nepalese to Russia, the government does not have any data on the exact number of Nepalese recruited in the Russian security forces. The government is also yet to initiate a clear effort for the return of the Nepalese nationals who have been recruited in the Russian military. The Department of Immigration has said that complications have surfaced as Nepali nationals are reaching Russia through India and Dubai after the government had imposed a ban on Nepalese traveling to Russia. Meanwhile, family members of Bipin Joshi, a Nepali student who has gone missing since Hamas attacked Israel, have met with Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal and have appealed for diplomatic efforts for his safe return at the earliest. After meeting Prime Minister Dahal at the Dhangari airport in Kailali yesterday, family of Joshi appealed for efforts for Bipin's safe return at the earliest. Responding to the request, Prime Minister Dahal expressed commitment of making maximum possible diplomatic efforts for Bipin's safe release. Bipin, a student of agriculture at the Sudir Paschim University, had left for Israel on 13th of September under the Learn and Earn program. 10 Nepali students were killed in the October 7 attack of Hamas at an agriculture farm in Kibbutz, while Bipin Joshi of Bhimdatta Municipality, Ward Number 7, had gone missing. Despite confirmation of Bipin being held hostage by Hamas from the Israeli army and the Nepalese embassy in Tel Aviv, his condition remains unknown. The government of Nepal is to make another request to the government of Qatar to make efforts for the safe release of Bipin Joshi, who has been held hostage by Hamas. Minister for Foreign Affairs N.P. Saud said that another request is to be made with the government of Qatar, which has been playing the role of a mediator in the release of hostages held by Hamas. Minister Saud has said that efforts are also in progress through requests with the government of Israel, Nepalese embassy in Israel, and the Red Cross. Minister Saud is leaving for Qatar today. Meanwhile, Minister Saud has spoken to the coordinator of the task force of the government of Israel looking after the issue of hostages and missing people. In his conversation, Minister Saud has urged the task force to help find out about Bipin's condition. He also urged to ensure the safety of Bipin and make efforts for his immediate release. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Minister Saud has urged for putting Bipin in priority in the next round of release of hostages. In response, Israeli officials said that they consider Joshi as a member of their family and assured of prioritizing his release. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked people in several provinces why they think smuggling of gold into Nepal has continued unabated. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
सरकार कर्मचारी एयरपोर्टमा भएको पुलिसहरु पनि उहाँहरु सायद इमानदार हुनु भएन आफ्नो कामप्रति
जाँच गर्ने र यहाँ हाम्रो देशका नेताहरु हुनुहुन्छ जुन अहिले बसिराख्नु छ सरकारमा उहाँहरुको मिलोमतोमा नै यो सबै भइराखेको छ
राष्ट्रियतालाई चाहिँ आत्मसात गरेर यो काम भइदियो भने यस्ता यी तस्करीहरु चाहिँ नि बन्द हुन्थ्यो
पुलिस प्रशासनको काम हो त्यही मिलेर काम गराउँछ
सुरक्षाको व्यवस्था यत्र कडाई नभएको पनि हुन सक्छ
राज्यले विदेशबाट आउने मान्छेका चाहिँ मोबाइल सुन देख्छ तर चाहिँ तस्करीहरुको चाहिँ सुन देख्न सकेको छैन
किलोको किलो सुन चाहिँ नेपालमा भित्रिदाखेरि चाहिँ नेपाल सरकारको चेक जहाँ चाहिँ एकदम फितलो देखिन्छ
सरकारले चाहिँ तपाईको चाहिँ प्रभावकारी रूपमा तपाईको एउटा संयन्त्रको विकास गर्नुपर्छ
कानुनै फितलो जस्तो कारबाही नगरेर चाहिँ झन् सुन तस्करी गर्नेहरूलाई अझै आँटा आएको जस्तो पनि देखिन्छ
राजनीतिक नेताहरुसँग समेत सेटिङ भएको हुनाले
प्रतिष्ठित मान्छेहरुले गर्दाखेरि यो चाहिँ नियन्त्रणमा नआउन सकेको
जुन सेक्युरिटी छ हैन त्यो चाहिँ अलिकति कडाई नहुने
नेताहरु नै आफै इन्भल्भ छन् इनुले नै कन्ट्रोल गरेपछि यो सुन तस्करी कन्ट्रोल हुने हो
उच्चपदस्थहरू हुनुहुन्छ उहाँहरु नै यो चीजमा चाहिँ संलग्न हुनुहुन्छ
Nepal has stopped the export of electricity to India from last night. The Nepal Electricity Authority informed that export was halted as it has been difficult to meet domestic demand from the electricity generated in the country. With the onset of the winter season, demand of electricity has drastically increased and the import of 21 megawatts of electricity from India has started to meet domestic demand. With the start of the dry season, flow of water in rivers and streams has decreased, resulting in the decline in production of electricity from domestic hydropower houses. The Nepal Electricity Authority had started exporting electricity to India from 11th of June earlier this year and has earned 15.23 billion rupees from the export. It's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question. What could be the reason for the delay in investigations into big corruption cases launched by the CIAA? Your options are A, political interference, B, lack of caliber, and C, complicated issue. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for the international updates. The United States yesterday vetoed a proposed United Nations Security Council demand for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in the war between Israel and Palestinian militant group Hamas in Gaza, diplomatically isolating Washington as it shields its ally. 13 other members voted in favor of a brief draft resolution put forward by the United Arab Emirates, while Britain abstained. The vote came after UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres made a rare move on Wednesday to formally warn the 15-member council of a global threat from the 2-month-long war. The United States and Israel oppose a ceasefire because they believe it would only benefit Hamas. The U.S. has consistently opposed international calls for a ceasefire and called the resolution imbalanced and unrealistic. The U.S. had offered substantial amendments to the draft, including a condemnation of the October 7 Hamas attacks that Israel says killed 1,200 people and in which 240 people were taken hostage. Britain's UN ambassador Barbara Woodward said her country abstained because there was no condemnation of Hamas. During the debate, the Palestinian ambassador cited the thousands killed or injured in Israel's assault on Gaza, while Israel's envoy said a ceasefire would only extend the war and that the only option for peace was to eliminate Hamas. Israel's Foreign Minister Eli Cohen accused the United Nations chief of siding with Hamas after he took the rare move of invoking Article 99 of the UN Charter to push for a ceasefire in Gaza earlier this week. Article 99 gives the UN Secretary General the remit to bring to the attention of the Security Council any matter which, in his opinion, may threaten the maintenance of international peace and security. Secretary General Antonio Guterres did this on Wednesday when he formally referred the situation in Gaza to the UN Security Council, urging its members to avert a humanitarian catastrophe in the besieged enclave. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre yesterday said Republicans are playing chicken with U.S. national security. Asked about the approval for supplemental funding, Jean-Pierre said the Republicans in Congress are willing to give Vladimir Putin a gift. U.S. Senate leaders vowed on Thursday to keep trying to reach an agreement to provide billions of dollars in new security aid to Ukraine, but faced uncertainty about doing so quickly after Republicans blocked a sweeping foreign security assistance bill. Senate Republicans voted unanimously on Wednesday to block the emergency spending bill to provide $110.5 billion in funds for Ukraine, Israel, and other security needs to press their demands for more control of immigration via the U.S. border with Mexico. The result, which had been expected, threatened Democratic President Joe Biden's effort to provide new aid before the end of 2023. It came after Democrats and Republicans had negotiated for weeks to add immigration policy changes to the security bill to win enough Republican votes to pass. Meanwhile, British Foreign Secretary David Cameron used a visit to Washington to urge politicians in the United States to approve a fresh package of military aid for Ukraine. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.